Power is the most valuable commodity in the world of politics. Everyone has some of it, and everyone wants more of it. To have power, or even to want more of it, is not evil or covetous. Why? Because we want the power to change. The power to change governments. The power to change the chronic injustices that blight the bottom billion. The power to give every child a chance to live a dignified life. The power to protect people from human and natural catastrophes. Without power to change, Nelson Mandela could not have taken the long march from his prison cell on Robben Island to become president of a free post-apartheid South Africa. Without power to change, Malala would not have stood up to the Taliban to fight for the rights of girls to go to school. Without power to change, Eddie Mabo from Murray Island in the Torres Strait would not have persuaded the High Court that all Indigenous peoples held rights to their land under their own laws and customs prior to the assertion of British sovereignty. It is easy to find examples where individuals have become agents of change. It is hard to precisely identify what Mandela, Malala, and Mabo have in common. Where did their power to change come from? Power and change are intimately connected, as the philosopher John Locke pointed out over 3 centuries ago. For Locke, to have power was to be able to make and able to receive any change. But being able to make and receive change is a good start in our challenge to understand how power works. But to develop the concept further, we need to consider a path-breaking account of power written by the political and social theorist Stephen Lukes. The first edition of Power, A Radical View was published in 1974. In this work, Lukes contrasts the way power operates in government settings versus how it operates in a larger societal context. His device for critiquing traditional conceptions of power is by arguing that there is not one, but 3 dimensions to social power. The first dimension restricts power to decisions taken by a class of political actors, such as politicians, civil servants, and lobbyists. It is assumed that power is distributed evenly across various political parties and interest groups. In this scenario, the actors decide the outcome of an issue where there is an observable conflict of interest. What does this mean in practice? Power is exercised through negotiation and bargaining until a decision is reached which is accepted by all parties, even if it wasn't their preferred outcome. The actor or actors with the power to change are simply those who get their way. The second dimension focuses on less overt applications of power. Here, Lukes draws our attention to a wide range of factors such as values, beliefs, and institutional procedures that benefit certain individuals or groups at the expense of others. Power is therefore distributed and socialized such that control over political space is established. What does this mean in practice? Power in this second dimension is about controlling the political realm to defend sectional interests. This control can be maintained by coercion or through buying loyalty, commonly known as bribery. Control can also be consented to by those who are not part of the power elite. If the idea of consenting to a social order that is manifestly unequal seems counterintuitive, then remember that hierarchies operate in almost all institutions. There are hierarchies inside families, inside armed forces, even non-governmental organisations whose mission is to overturn the status quo. A third dimension of power was articulated by the philosopher Hannah Arendt. Power, she writes, corresponds to the human capability to act together. Power is never the property of an individual, it belongs to a group and remains in existence so long as the group keeps together. What does this mean in practice? It means political actors are empowered by like-minded group or social movements. Unlike the first 2 dimensions of power, which emphasize power over, the third emphasizes power with. This form of power is grounded in the norms of a political community and needs legitimacy to function. As we will see in the Power to Change case studies, there are different types of power, and these can either be compatible or in conflict with one another. Each draws our attention to different actors, diverse settings, and alternative logics. Without an ability to map power, we risk setting our expectations about the prospects for change too high or too low, and we misunderstand where to apply our capability in order to achieve the most change. For example, even elected politicians whose daily business is most easily identifiable with Dimension 1 also understand that power needs legitimacy to be effective in the long term and to truly create global change. If you have the right theoretical framework, you can make power visible where it was hidden. You can command where previously you obeyed. And you can have the power to create change too.